Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Pod. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Brandon.
And we've been having so many technical difficulties that we low-key want to kill each other. That's okay though. We are here and we are making it work.
Yes. I don't want to kill you. I'm just very frustrated at all this.
I'm just
material.
Hungry and irritated.
Well, maybe get a snack.
No, I already had so many snacks today. I don't know what happened, but I woke up and was like, should I eat everything?
I hear that.
Not my favorite thing that happens, but it does happen. I also do feel the need to announce that we were marked safe from the Rapture.
Yes. Being marked safe from the Rapture brings on a totally different meaning when you actually believed for most of your life that the Rapture was coming at any point.
The Rapture had a chokehold on the elder-millennials. Like, not only were we taught in school, like, I remember being, like, genuinely worried, like, what if the Rapture happened while I'm on the toilet or while I'm in the shower? Like, I thought about that kind of stuff. And then we had, like, the infamous Left Behind series.
I mean, that's the only place that I found out
crash.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was in my church.
Yeah, they weren't teaching Rapture theology at my church. I literally found out about it.
Because it's not real, but whatever.
Yeah, but I found out about the Rapture from the books, and I feel like my parents didn't have any knowledge of the Rapture before the books. So I think like any Rapture talk that came in our house was just from like me and my mom reading these like awful books from the Christian bookstore.
They were crazy. It's literally like the Rapture's going to happen and everything on earth is going to blow up and be terrible. And those poor souls want to live for 1,000 years in like hell on earth.
But like not before we all witness like a worldwide like super death day where like people are just dying left and right.
Well, I heard a term on the Rapture talk where like on TikTok, these people were having like a collective psychosis about the Rapture happening and like selling their cars, leaving people notes, saying crazy like tips and tricks for the Rapture. I heard a term I had not heard since I was a little kid, and that is pre-trib. This woman came on there and said, I'm pre-trib with the Rapture. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, so you have the tribulation that comes at like whether it's before there is this like this period of time between the Rapture, which is like God calling all his people up, and Jesus coming back, called the tribulation.
It's like 1,000 years, right?
Yeah, that's like allegedly. And yeah, so this pre-trib would be that you believe that the Rapture will happen before we experience this.
It's like the Antichrist, right?
Yeah, the time. Well, yes, in this particular vein of the theology, yes.
Which I have to tell you, based on what's happening in the world right now, I'm giving post-trib. I feel like we're in a tribulation.
I think we're in the tribulation.
I don't think a rapture's happening, but I do feel a tribulation.
Yeah, there's a lot of tribulation out there for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't use that term enough.
Well, just to make you think about this is that the idea, for those of you out there who don't know what a rapture is.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, you weren't traumatized as a child with the thought process that at some point in any given day, Jesus would call up everyone who follows him into the sky up to heaven, leaving everyone else behind. Mm-hmm. And so the thought process was that, you know, this horn would blow in the sky. Gabriel would blow his horn, and then all of us would be called up, leaving all of you heathens behind. Mm-hmm. Well, next to my house was a set of train tracks, and many a day that a train would roll by and blow its horn. And I can tell you that every single time I heard that horn, I thought, is that the horn? Like, I don't know what that was.
Does Gabriel have his trumpet?
But literally every time I heard that horn, I was like, is that what it was? Because it was just like my house was far enough from the train, but close enough to it that the sound was always just very ominous.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, it could be the day. Today could be the day.
Have I been left behind?
And just bring tons of anxiety and instant shame about whatever I had done wrong most recently.
Yeah, it's insane. Wasn't it like invented in like the 1800s?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And I mean, people like hold tight to it. And the thing is, I wasn't that stoked about heaven based on what they were telling me about that. because they were like, you get your own mansion. You won't know who you were related to or like what you liked on earth. None of that will matter. All you'll do is walk on the streets of gold and worship Jesus. And I was like, that feels like a 30-minute commitment for me.
I mean, I'll just
what do you
be
mean
honest.
I'm not going to know anybody?
And like, I still go to church, but I'm just tell you right now, when I used to hear about that in like youth group and Sunday school, and they were like, well, I'm like, ooh, what's heaven? What's the afterlife going to be like? I'm like, we're just going to be sitting together in an unending worship service. And I'm like, that sounds like my literal hell.
That is a nightmare. I remember, and it's why I was afraid of the rapture. I was like, do I want to be left behind to suffer in hell and tribulation? No. Am I excited about the heaven you've described? Also, no. And in fact, we did like a bunch of those. They would talk about that a lot in my church on like Sunday nights.
Yeah.
And on Sunday nights, I would put myself in the nursery so that I could take care of children instead of having to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much that today, when I went to the park with the dog, my friend just had a baby. He's like 4 weeks old. And I like picked him up, I was holding him, and she was like, you don't have kids. Like, how do you know how to do that? And I was like, baby girl, I spent like 10 years in the nursery every Sunday night avoiding these types of messages.
Well, you know, we were talking about like what heaven would be like. And I think my mom could probably read that like the never ending worship service was probably not ideal. And so, you know, Cindy Batson was wanting to keep morale high. And
listen, Cindy Batson is always, she will tell you a tale to keep morale high.
And so I wanted to hear morale. I appreciate her trying to keep morale high because I remember asking questions like, I mean, will there be video games in heaven? She's like, sure. I'm like, what about my favorite TV shows? And like, can we eat Oreos in heaven? She's like, of course. I mean, everything
asked if my dog would be in heaven that had just died. And my dad was like, no. He didn't have a soul. And I was like, what?
But literally, like, I remember, I think both of my parents just like the desire to keep the morale high around church and I'm glad they did was like,
hey, you're still in it because
all
of that,
your favorite things will be in heaven too. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good.
What they kept describing for me was like endless, like on earth, endless servitude to men, which anyone who knew me from a young age was like, she is not going to cope well with this.
She's not built for the servitude to men.
Not built for that. In fact, I was talking to my neighbor who was telling me like, oh, my husband's work from home day moved and I completely forgot it was today. And I got up and I made him his snacks and I brought him his coffee and I was just sitting there dumbstruck. And I was like, do you create daily snacks? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, you are such a good wife. I made a point early on to make sure.
You set the bar pretty low.
I was like, I will be doing nothing of that sort for any man. Yeah. And you were like, okay.
Your domesticity.
Yeah. Who is she? She's not here. My domesticity does lend itself to cleaning, though. Mm-hmm. I don't like things. I don't like things to be dirty. I clean. I like vacuum, dust, clean the bathroom, do like the floors, everything every weekend. Like I can't handle grossness. And I don't know if that's domesticity or just like me being weird.
OCD and
a little bit of that. A little bit of that. I have real OCD around cleanliness in the house. Like, I get really mad at you if you, like, wear your outside pants on the couch or, like, try to wear your shirts you've worn all day in the bed. I can't abide that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like coming home is like entering, like, the clean zone from the movie Outbreak. Like, I have to, like, you know, take all my clothes off and go through a hose. Just to enter our space.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be dirty. God forbid. God forbid I be such a good wife and so domestic that I keep really clean.
That's the way I see it. That's the way I see that energy.
You know, I thought so. But yeah, anyway, they knew that was not going to work well for me. So my life was like, Rachel, you're going to be in servitude to a man for all of your known days and his children. And then when you get to heaven, you get to participate in an endless worship service. And I was like, do you know the first question I asked as a kid?
Yeah.
If I was like, will there be food? Like,
will
any food I want be available? And my dad was like, no, because you won't be hungry. And I was like, oh my God.
The kind of, where did they come up with that? Where is that in the Bible?
Because hunger is like a human condition. It was the idea of like no more pain, no more tears, like none of that. And I was like, so we're just sitting there singing? forever?
Well, what's so interesting about the environment that you grew up in is that women knew from a young age that they weren't even allowed to participate in the service. So now we're going to be in an unending worship service in which I cannot have a role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was a big fat no. Coming as a shock to no one, I no longer participate.
Yeah. You got the message loud and clear.
I did. I was like, you know what? This is a hop, skip, and a jump away for me. I'm good to go. I'm just going to take what works and leave what doesn't. And most of it didn't for me. But Rapture Talk did have me in a chokehold because I was like, I have not really thought about like church and that kind of stuff in like 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so to have all these terms that I was like so like honed in on as a teenager and a child come back up with this, I was like, oh, it was like a little PTSD.
Did any part of you wake up this morning scared that you would turn over and I would just be gone and all my clothes would be in the bed?
Literally did not think about it one wink. No.
Would you?
Was any
sad?
part of you? Obviously, I would be sad if you just like disappeared. Was any part of you like, what if I get taken up and Rachel's still there?
I mean, I'm always looking for an opportunity to be called into the clouds.
Why?
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, not really. I don't know that I believe in a rapture per se. So
I should hope not.
And definitely not one that kooks on the internet know the date and time.
Okay, so this was my trick in high school when I was like, I have things I'd like to do with my life before the Lord comes back. And it said like, no man knows the day or the hour. And I'd be like, but today, I'm in today. So that it would negate the fact that he could come.
We were actually just talking about this on our church staff recently. That one
really?
That one of the main things when we thought that the rapture was coming, as when we were kids, we were like, what if the rapture comes before we're able to have sex?
Well, for sure.
And it's like, what if, we're told like we cannot have sex until we're married. And like, what if that happens before the rapture? And it doesn't seem like high on the list of priorities in heaven is sexual intercourse. Yeah. And so it's like, you just miss out. Now you've no sex on earth and now you're in heaven and you're just worshiping day and night, night and day.
You're just an incel up there.
I don't know that you're an incel just because Jesus
isn't that
is in
what
need
it
of
is?
his worship.
Where you're celibate but not by choice. It's something like you're an incel.
I guess that is true.
So I guess you're just surrounded by a bunch. Yeah, involuntarily
celibate. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're up there surrounded by incels.
Well, there are some other... No. Well, first of all, there are some other beliefs that are usually attached to the incel narrative.
I fear they've come full circle, and these incels believe the way that we were taught.
Okay, all right. I mean, I will concede on that. It's a dark time.
It is, because as we said at the beginning, we are in tribulation. Rapture notwithstanding, we are in a period of tribulation. So to break from that, to give you reprieve, we're going to talk about some nostalgic good things happening in the pop culture sphere. First, Dawson's Creek reunion. Tell me all about it. You watched.
Oh, well, I didn't watch it because it wasn't like available to watch. It happened in a Broadway theater this week. And I was watching videos on TikTok of like all the stars together. And Jason Vanderbeek was supposed to be there and be like a main part of it. And he was supposed to sing a song from Phantom of the Opera because he said in this TikTok video that he relates the character of Dawson to being the Phantom of the Opera, which I thought that was such an interesting
Also, his name is James Vanderbeek, right? Not Jason.
James Vanderbeek. My bad. And I thought it was just so interesting, but he's in this like terrible struggle with colorectal cancer right now, and he was unable to be there. He had to like film some videos for it and stuff like that. But like they're singing the "I Don't Want to Wait" song on stage all together, and his kids came out and sang part of it. Yeah. And I don't know, like I just got like very emotional around all this stuff. Like I absolutely loved that show. And I just like, it was that first like sappy love story thing that I felt like my generation was like very tapped into, very like attached to the story of like Pacey and Joey and Pacey and Dawson and Joey and Pacey and Dawson and Joey and the whole thing. And I always thought Michelle Williams, her like weird kind of hippie, like granola character, I mean, that was right up my alley as a child.
That was always your type until you met me.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the same belief systems as the hippies, but I myself am not hippie in terms of like just, I don't know. I think that it was like our 90210. I think the Gen Xers, they were like we were like a little too young to get really into 90210. But Dawson's Creek, I was not allowed to watch it because one of the episodes has, I think, Pacey having sex with a teacher or something.
Oh, it definitely does.
And which was like a common refrain in teenage movies and TV shows for ages until people were like, you know what? That's actually not great.
And it's like a sick thing where it's like very normalized. Like, they loved each other.
Yeah, like you
Society
as the viewer
doesn't understand.
Are supposed to be in favor of it. And so my mom was like, yeah, you can't watch that. Which hats off to Powell on that
smart.
one. Yeah,
probably smart.
I could not agree more with like, if I had a kid, I would not want them to at the very least watch that episode. So when we were in California, we found the huge box set that you had of Dawson's Creek of every single season. And I was like, oh, we have to watch this. I've never seen it all the way through. I'd just seen like episodes here and there. And I spent months of my life, I watched every single episode with enthusiasm.
There's also like a big storyline about how Michelle Williams' grandmother in the show, Graham or whatever, that she doesn't like gay people, doesn't think gay people should be able to like be gay or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that was the first time I'd ever seen a storyline where characters were like looking positively upon a gay character like on television.
Yeah. There were a lot of like interesting breakthroughs with it. One of the biggest criticisms it got during the time was one, that they looked way older than teenagers, and two, that they spoke like more eloquently than adults talk to each other.
Yes. Which is a Kevin Williamson trope, who is the writer of the show.
For sure. It was just like so ridiculous, the stuff that they said to each other. That's why it's so much fun to go back through and watch it. And you're like, oh my God, could you imagine today? These kids are just out saying things that I quite literally don't understand.
Well, and they have the interests of people that were their actual age.
Yeah.
Like Dawson somehow is a 14-year-old film critic nerd. And it's like, no, maybe a 20-year-old Dawson, which is how old he was when the show began.
Right.
Maybe he would be interested in film. But I very seriously doubt that a 14-year-old. 14-year-olds like Marvel and like, Superman.
For sure.
Not,
and even
Italian
like being
film.
interested in movies is normal. But like you said, it would be movies for their age, and even just like making movies. Sure. But yeah, Italian films, come on, give me a break. A teenage boy, who is he?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Dawson.
But anyway, it was very sweet and very sad. I hate watching him like be emaciated with all of the cancer treatment. It is truly devastating to watch. But it was nice to see the cast back together.
Yeah. I wish that they would do like I wish they'd do something that could be televised, because I'd really like to see what happened. But it was to raise money for cancer.
Right.
So, yeah.
The other reunion news we have coming 2026 is a good bookend, I was saying earlier, for like what we as elder millennials watched as like appointment TV, which was Dawson's Creek and then Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach, the characters in season 1, Lauren Conrad, Lo Bosworth, all of them, they're my age. So I remember being a senior in high school, watching them go through their senior year in high school. Or maybe I think I remember watching it when I was a freshman in college, because it was filmed while they were in high school, and being like, and it first of all, it's so good. I think it's only 2 seasons. But it's so perfectly elder millennial. And I'm stoked about seeing them all together. Lauren Conrad was like an it girl for a long time. She was able to move on to do The Hills, but everything in her life got overtaken by Kristen Cavallari, including Laguna Beach, with Kristen essentially takes over the second season. In The Hills, the same thing happens. And then Lauren did like a clothing line that seemed to work for a while. She sold it at Kohl's. And then I haven't really heard from her in ages now. I know she has a couple kids and I assume she's, momming, but it is interesting that, again, her counterpart, in Kristen's out there and been out there. And then Lo Bosworth is also out there in like the health space talking about like gut health and stuff like that.
I mean, their net worths, like all of them are higher than you would think they are.
Well, they grew up in Laguna Beach. Like they're obviously, and most of them married wealthy people as well. And Lo is pregnant right now. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
She just got married like a few months ago and is pregnant with her first child.
Nice.
I know.
Well, congratulations, Lo.
I know. She lives in New York. I have seen her out in Soho. I imagine she probably lives around there, shopping down there. But I saw her like randomly on like a quiet morning when I was going up there for something on a Saturday. But they just moved apartments. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. I think it'll be fun to see like the original cast that particular year all come together. Stephen Colletti is out there trying to do stuff. He just never quite could take off. He went to school to be an actor and like he's acted in some stuff, but just never gotten far with it.
I'll be interested to see like what comes of that. I would hope, hopefully they'll bring the drama. That would be a lot of fun.
I doubt they'll bring drama. They'll probably just talk about old drama, which honestly I'm here for. I love a nostalgic reunion. Okay. And then the next thing I want to do is talk about our icks currently and what we're into. So I'll go first. I'm going to talk specifically about celebrities. Glenn Powell gives me the ick.
Okay.
I can't explain it. Everyone's like, do you think he's so hot? And I'm like, no. Something about his grin reminds me of like a sly tiger or something. Like I can't explain it, but I don't like it. And the weirdest thing, Kristen Cavallari was talking about how she went out with him, and they just dry humped. Who in their 30s is out here dry humping? Like that is actually crazy.
That's conservative coded for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what? So he's giving me the ick in a way that I can't begin to explain. And then, who I'm into? Can you guess which celebrity? I'm like,
It was got to be Railroad Daddy.
It is indeed Railroad Daddy. He's in my favorite show, The Gilded Age. And we just started a new show.
I mean, do you know this man's name?
It's Morgan something. His name is Morgan.
I only know him as Morgan.
I know him as Morgan, Railroad Daddy, and I'm sorry if you can't follow that. But he's in The Gilded Age, and we just started watching The Black Rabbit, and it's so good. It's based on an actual restaurant in New York City that had the same allegations that got shut down. The Spotted Pig, you can look that up on Wikipedia. It's crazy. And he's in it. And I was so surprised because it's like a couple episodes in and I heard his voice and I was like, oh, there he is. Because that's what gets me. It's the like timbre of his voice. So tell me, what are your icks and into?
Seems like there's some sort of like cyber attack happening.
It feels we are being cyber attacked. Who is doing this? To our 33 listeners.
It is a cyber attack.
This is a cyber attack, and there's a war on Pop Snitch, is what I'm thinking.
What was,
why don't we come back to you? We'll come back to you.
Into?
Yeah.
Can I just do it?
You don't have anything that's giving you the ick?
Oh, I was saying that this cyber attack is my ick.
Okay. Yes. Technology not working is your ick. Sure.
Yes. I'm really into the Jen Hatmaker book that I'm reading right now, which is her story of her divorce and kind of her awakening into being like more of a progressive person growing up really, really conservative. And so like all of her stories about youth group and church and the South and all these things really resonate with me. And again, here I am resonating with a middle-aged woman.
They are your favorite.
As opposed to any of like my male contemporaries.
The manosphere. I prefer that. Please.
But I really do like a lot of her story, a lot of the way that she feels about like looking back in 2020 hindsight. It's all very good for me. And so
yeah, I'm excited.
She had a spotlight done with the New York Times and stuff like that. So I think this book could be huge for her, but I would recommend it to anyone. I'm about halfway done with it.
Did you get it on Audible?
No, I got it on,
Spotify?
I have Spotify Premium. So
yeah. No, I'm gonna get it too. I'm really excited. I have loved Jen Hatmaker through like every iteration of her. And I just really appreciate how open she's been about her progression.
Well, I'm not usually a huge fan of Memoir. But I really like what she does here. She jumps around a lot on the timeline, which I've never read a memoir that does that. And so that has been really interesting. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend Jen Hatmaker's Awake. That's a good book.
Okay. We got to talk about Salt Lake City. It's the only Housewives franchise that I am like religious about. Yeah. And Brandon is going to go back with me and watch from the beginning, but he watched some of last season and has watched the first 2 episodes. I want to know, what do you think about them like talking behind Lisa's back at the camping thing?
Well, first of all, Lisa Barlow, listener to the podcast.
Or at least interactor with our Instagram.
She has commented on our Instagram before.
She has. She's DM'd us.
So she is our queen. If we can be bought. And so if we don't like you on any platform or any kind of television show that we're watching or anything, and then you like interact with us in any way, negative, positive, online, we become stans. That's it. That's how it works. We're that pitiful, but that's just the facts. And so Lisa Barlow, I'm riding for her right now, even though I'm actually a big fan of Bronwyn too, which honestly just puts my 2 favorite people in the show, battling, which I like that. Okay, I can't hear a word you're saying. Nope, not a word.
I muted myself on accident.
Okay.
Keep talking about SLC while I try to deal with the fact that my phone has 5% battery. I'm about to plug it in. Or sit there mutely.
Well, it's just easier because it'll cut all this out if I don't speak.
All right. I think that did it because I plugged it into my laptop instead of that. The cyber attack continues.
Oh, my microphone stopped working a long time ago. I'm just using the mic down here now.
It's just a prop.
It's just a prop.
I feel crazy. Like, I feel so annoyed.
This is by far our worst episode.
I mean, you know honestly, what? That's fine.
Honestly, Rapture talk was, I feel like, a 10 out of 10.
Sure.
And now we're just holding on for dear life.
We really are. But I do want to talk about
our adoring fans.
Yes, all 33.
An episode, yeah.
Salt Lake City, I'm obsessed with it. Angie saying that Lisa was as bad as Jen Shaw is crazy, but so funny.
Yes, I mean, Jen Shaw literally like stole money from like elderly people.
She's in jail.
Yeah, she's in jail with what's her name, Elizabeth Holmes from the whole blood.
She's in the country
scandal.
Club jail.
Yeah, she's in there. There's other people in there too.
Didn't they just transfer Ghislaine Maxwell there too?
Yeah, yes.
Wild company.
A child trafficker is now in jail with Jen Shaw. So wow.
that's where she is. Lisa
and they just
Barlow,
show pictures of these people walking around the yard playing tennis together.
Yep.
Not in like orange jumpsuits, like walking around in tennis gear outside of this jail. What is this jail? It looks better than my life.
It's where rich people go to live like the poors, and it's jail to them.
Yeah, it's literally, they just live in a nice park, and now their life's terrible.
They're like, I can't go home to my mansion, but I can't play tennis, thank God. For me, it would be pickleball. Like, put me in a jail with pickleball, you know?
I mean, they got full-blown tennis. I think you probably get a pickleball court there.
I think so, too. I thought that was funny. And also, I tried to look up Lisa Barlow's lawsuits. I could only find 3. I think there were more, but they're all civil suits and they're all based around her not paying stuff back. One was already dismissed, and the other 2 haven't had any filings in 2025.
Well, as a Bronwyn stan, I hate to say this, but the truth of the matter is I do believe she's just deflecting from the from the fact that Lisa caught her in like an atrocious lie.
She clocked her hard. Yeah.
About her trying to say that she had bought this $4 million necklace. And Lisa was like, you didn't buy that. And she's like, oh, I did. I talked to him and blah, 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 blah. And Lisa was like, no, you didn't. And Lisa is crazy. She's like Kristen Doty. She ends up going and calling the jeweler and all these other people and finds out like Bronwyn never bought this. Bronwyn borrowed this for like a weekend and wore it for like clout and then turned it right back in. And she was like, you're not going to be on here on TV trying to act like you're richer than me and blah, 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 blah. And she just clocked her and called her out. And I think now Bronwyn's like really chapped about that whole situation and wants to make this season about somehow exposing Lisa. And Lisa's like, I'm rich. I have businesses. I get sued just like everybody who's rich and has businesses.
Which is true. Yeah. If you are a business owner, especially if you have a lot of media, you're for sure going to get sued. You need a good attorney. But I thought Bronwyn handled it. I would do the same thing if I were her, come in and start shit with Lisa, because why not if she's not there? Lisa saying that she had business with Blake Lively and Ben Affleck was so funny because like, obviously she did not.
No.
She just didn't want to go with them. And I'm like, Lisa is integral to that cast. Like there are some people where you're like, but honestly, that particular cast, Whitney might be the only one that I'd be like, but she's been integral to past seasons. So
when nothing is going on, you can count on Whitney to just be like, stir the pot.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So like, that's her role in it. I think the thing about Lisa that I absolutely loved is just like, she's got unhinged nature inside of her.
Yeah.
And she will just
pops.
She will pop off and she does unhinged things. Like she borrowed, hundreds of thousands of dollars without her husband even knowing about it and didn't even tell him. Like that was
in the text messages, don't tell John.
That was a huge hit in this past episode 2, where Bronwyn's like, well, you borrowed all this money, didn't even tell your husband. I was like,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Brittany has to be the most insane person. Like, I can't even begin to describe how crazy she is, but I do like her as an addition. Like, her trying to go back and forth with Whitney or with Bronwyn, she looked so insane.
Yeah, she does
it's hard to watch.
She does not have the intellect to go toe-to-toe with any of these other women. These other women, call it what you want, most of them are pretty sharp. Angie's a little less sharp than, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah.
But Brittany's on a whole nother level.
Angie's just not eloquent. Brittany is not smart.
But the other women,
they are.
They're sharp
and they
as
will
a tack.
Come for your neck. I love that Meredith always sounds like a little high when she begins to talk. She's like, oh, Angie, not right now.
It's so funny to know after watching Next Gen NYC and seeing who Brooks is, and then knowing who his mother is and who his father is. Like, he literally is just such a cross section of their personalities, and I love to see it. Watching Meredith disassociate just like takes you back. Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, just imagine. Settings. I mean, and honestly, like, in moments on the show, I'm like, I feel for Seth having to be in that house with them growing up, because it really was a 2-on-1 scenario. It was a 3-on-1 scenario. Yeah. And the fact that he's still in Seth it trying to make it work. Guy, you know, like I feel like all of those women are interesting and funny, and I love watching it. I know a lot of people watch Housewives because they're like, I want to disassociate. I want to see wealth. I want to see opulence. That's not me. I don't care about that. I want to see
mess. And these women know how to bring mess. Lisa Barlow looking at Bronwyn and saying, "You're dismissed." Mess. Lisa Barlow looking at Bronwyn and saying, "You suck gout dick."
No, it's
gout dick sucker.
Well, I don't know that I want the word sucker used on our podcast.
Well, it's a direct quote. Get over it. And I agree with Heather in this. Like, can you get gout there? I thought gout was like in the legs.
I think she just meant a D-sucker of a person with gout.
Oh, the G is not in the D.
Correct.
Okay.
It's an add-on.
Okay. So gout was not meant to be an adjective.
Correct.
I gotta say, confusing, weird, hilarious.
Yes. 100%.
Dare I say iconic.
Yeah. That was great. I would say another person we have not mentioned is Mary Cosby.
Oh boy.
So just a little background on Mary Cosby.
Married to her grandpa.
Yes. Literally married to her grandpa. Her grandmother.
Well, married to her grandmother's husband. He was
grandpa.
Not like her. No, he was not her.
Well,
birth.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, still weird.
Not a blood relative, but still her grandfather.
Yeah.
So
I think it was her grandmother's second husband.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Even so, technically, married to her grandpa.
Mary Cosby's grandmother was like the matriarch of this church in Salt Lake. Yeah. And so when
these like businesses surrounding it.
Yes. And so when Mary Cosby's grandmother was on her deathbed, she said that it was her wish that Mary, her granddaughter, would marry her then husband. Mm-hmm. And Mary did it.
Well, because that's how she was going to leave her fortune. She said she would leave it if she did that, and then wanted them to have a child together to like carry the torch.
And they sure did. And this child is a little off.
Well, he's done a lot of drugs.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying he's a little off. Well, why?
I'm just he's done some drugs. Made him a little wonky.
Yeah. Yes. But then in this episode, he was admitting that he's been back on the weed a little bit, which in the conversation, Mary is like kind of confronting him about this, and his eyes are completely glazed over. And she's like, "Have you been smoking weed, or have you been doing any drugs?" And he's like, "I'll bet."
You can't blink.
Literally. But yeah, Mary Cosby, I mean, she always brings it. She is
so funny. Like, she says the craziest things that you're just like, sure. And it's like they all give her a pass because it's so outrageous that you're just like, I don't even have a response for that.
Well, and I mean, what are you going to say to a woman who's married to her grandfather? I mean,
who only wears like designer, like the businesses that her grandma had do not, in my brain, equate to the wealth that she has, but I'm not asking questions.
No, there's some sort of embezzling going on in that church
Something
situation.
happened. Something happened there.
But Mary, the interesting part about this is that anytime any drama is going on, the thing that Mary delivers to the seasons is, if there's drama going on over here, there's a camera on Mary.
Watching her reaction.
The cut twos are always Mary, like
her eyes, her being like, saying stuff under her breath. And the stuff she says is like gold. It is so funny. And I love her on the show. I did appreciate Whitney opening up about her business failing. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty vulnerable, and that it was a good idea to just like lay it out there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's exactly like they're trying to make it more than it is. And she's like, look, like I risked my nest egg on this. I risked my husband's money on this. It failed. And I've not been good.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hide it. I just didn't want it necessarily to be the center of what was going on the show.
Well, and it was all because Brittany was like saying something mean about her business. Yeah. And then she's like, "What do you do for money?" And Brittany's like, "I can't believe you would say that to me. I'm ready for my apology." I'm like,
Yeah.
you have to be the dumbest person I've ever watched on a Housewives franchise. And that is saying something.
That's really saying something for sure.
But I am excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I love these women so much. I think Bronwyn was honestly I think Bronwyn and Brittany were really good additions to the cast.
Great casts. Yeah. The crazy part about this is we will be rubbing elbows with all of these folks at
We sure will.
BravoCon coming up in November, and we'll be broadcasting live.
That's right.
From the Bravo verse in Vegas. So
At
that'll be fun.
BravoCon. The other things that I've seen in the news are allegations that Mary's son, there was some sort of domestic abuse dispute that he was arrested for recently that I saw on page 6 or something.
Wow.
And then there was someone else. Oh, there are on Dumois and stuff, they're saying that there's trouble in paradise with Whitney and her husband. So I have no idea what happens or if they're separating or what's going on.
Whitney's probably our age or maybe even younger. And her husband's 60 something?
No, well, maybe now. In his 50s at least. He's at least a decade older, maybe more. I think he's 16 years older, but I can't remember. But I think the money thing is probably a huge dispute. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I really enjoyed both episodes. A lot of people were like, oh, I hate how they did it with these cameras. And I'm like, no, I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the first 2 episodes for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I have no doubt that they will continue to deliver because SLC delivers. And we need to, next week when we do this, you need to give an update on what you've watched from season 1 because, again, immediately iconic.
Yeah, I may actually start with season 2 because I've seen the vast majority of season 1. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Because I've seen all the way up to... Yeah, I've probably seen at least half of it, but maybe I should just start from the beginning again. I've just seen the same 3 or 4 episodes, probably 3 times.
I think if you watch an episode and you're like, I've already seen this, you move on to the next, that's fine. But you need a lot of context because there are things that happen in the first and second seasons that literally don't get resolved until season 4.
All right. Well, I'll take your word on it.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so good.
All right.
All right, well, that's all I have.
Great.
Again, because we were distracted, I forgot to say at the top, no one is leaving us reviews, and I'm really upset about it. So go on your phone and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And for sure, go smash that subscribe button on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, you have homework. Okay, and that's what it is. All right, well, we love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Ew, I did not like that.